Good evening, all. Welcome to this conversation series as part of our YDY celebrations. So let us start the session with a prayer. Sit comfortably, wherever you are. Fingers in chin mudra, thumb touching the index finger, eyes gently closed. Let the body be steady, comfortable. Bring the awareness to your nose tip and observe the normal breathing. Feel the in-breath, out-breath. Observe the breathing for a few rounds. As you continue watching the breath, observe the changes to the breathing pattern. Let us start the session with 3 rounds of Omkara. Each time breathe in. As you breathe out, continue with the Om chanting and the silence after the chanting. Palms and Namaskara Mudra. Omkara and the Sahana Bhavatu prayer all together. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow down, take the blessings from the God of your choice, a higher reality. With a few blinks, gently open your eyes. Again, namaste, good evening to all. Welcome you to this session on understanding about holistic lifestyle and what is the positivity that we need to bring in the current pandemic that we all are facing. So we have with us Dr. Vijay Kumar. Namaste, Doctor. And also Dr. Madhuri. Namaste, Dr. Madhuri. So just a brief introduction before we start. So Dr. Vijay Kumar is a Ayurvedic doctor and he's also done his MD in yoga and rehabilitation from the SVSI Yoga University. And right now he is currently associated with the Lakulish Yoga University as an assistant yoga professor. So his area of specialization is yoga therapy and more than 10 years of clinical expertise in the field of integrated medicine. So he is also imparting the training to the university teachers about the yoga therapy for different common ailments. Now we have Dr. Madhuri with us, who is a homeopathy doctor, and she's also a founder of a non-profit organization called Mitra for Life, which works with families of children with autistic and special needs. So practitioner of yoga from an early childhood and school days. Her expertise are in the homeopathic treatment of developmental disorders and behavioral disorders in children. She is also an NLP health coach and uses her expertise in NLP in improving the individual child's emotional quotient and creating programs to improve the independence and productivity of the special needs children as they grow into teenage and adulthood. Welcome, doctors. It's a privilege that, both of you are there in our session today. So the first question, the topic itself says that holistic lifestyle. So I would like to ask Dr. Vijay, so what is this holistic lifestyle? And in this current pandemic, you think that such a lifestyle is a solution for a long-term solution for individuals to adapt to this holistic lifestyle?
Thank you very much for having me here. Actually, it's a very important question for everybody. Like, as you said, lifestyle, everybody knows lifestyle because we think the way we live is lifestyle. That would be like a very vague definition. Lifestyle, which means we should follow as an organism. We are living in an environment. We should follow a certain, regulated rhythms. Like we are living in an environment where environment also changes. Based on the environmental changes, we should, as an organism, being a part of the environment, we should change. Right, that is what is referred as lifestyle. It's not like how expensive standard of living we follow. That's not the lifestyle. Lifestyle is how well we set our rhythms with our external environment. Because see, when we talk about pandemic crisis, the biggest hurdle right in front of is how to keep our immune system intact. Because that is the biggest issue right now. Even though the virus are there everywhere, like it's a dead RNA, it's there everywhere. Even it's like now, initially they said droplet infection, now it's airborne. So the virus is there out in the environment. Whether we contract the infection or not, it's a individual's choice. Why do I say individual choice? Because if my immune system is intact and vigilant, I might not catch, even if I get get contract with COVID-19, I might not develop full-blown clinical, disease, SARS-CoV-19. Why is that? Because of immune response. So the entire lifestyle is nothing but how to keep all the biological rhythms in a synchrony. Because when we talk about immune system directly related to our circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is nothing but lifestyle. See, that is where people get misled. So people do think that if I take this and if I sleep for this many hours, it's not about sleeping number of hours. It's not about what you do during your wakeful cycle. It is the each and every functions in the body, they functions in a synchrony. So that synchrony should be well established with our environment where we live. So that is what we talk about epigenetics and how epigenetics interferes with immune modulation. So right now in the pandemic, maintaining wakeful and sleep cycle according to the nature is the biggest challenge, because we can't go out because we are isolated. So staying home, physically being inactive, most of the time watching TV, constantly bombarded by so much of information, not the knowledge. There's just an information. Yeah, again, so mental health will be under very fragile mode based on that physical inactivity, sedentary life. So there are so many add-on things which disturbs our rhythm. I don't want to call it as a lifestyle. I could say nature's rhythm. So we should just follow that rhythm. And during pandemic, it's very essential to keep natural rhythm, because if I follow my natural rhythm, my immune system will be vigilant and intact. If my immune system is vigilant and intact, obviously, even if I get contact with the virus, I might not develop disease, because my immune system would be, well equipped to fight against. Even though if it is a new virus, it's okay. My immune system will be in a position to fight against and produce antibodies. So ultimately, lifestyle is how synchronously we follow the rhythm. Because when you talk about immune system, the entire immune system is under the surveillance of some pacemaker is there. We call it as suprachiasmatic nucleus, SNC. So that regulates the entire peripheral subordinate centers, and that in turn, interferes with so many translational proteins and other cellular functions, cellular specific functions. So by and large, how do we establish normal rhythm? That decides our immune response. And for pandemic crisis, that is the only solution.
Okay. Yeah, so here when you talk about, say, natural rhythm, Dr. Madhuri, I would like to ask you, so Is it easy that, to follow this natural rhythm? Because I think you must have also been advising, right, your patients about, make those lifestyle changes. So how easy do you think that, people find it easy to follow, change into or fall into this natural rhythm?
Yeah, yeah. So first of all, I'd like to say something about, the holistic lifestyle that
Yes. Yeah.
Dr. Vijay was also talking about. See, this whole, the word holistic, when we talk about a lifestyle, includes the body, the mind, emotion, and our inner spirituality, if we may call it that, right? So the point about a holistic lifestyle is to make choices in your everyday living, which are, you know, maybe not good, but which are good for all these areas, not just the body. We may eat something just because, like we were talking about these, so a lot of people nowadays think holistic lifestyle means you drink a kashayam every day, you take a teaspoon of turmeric every day, as we were just talking. That may be good for the body in certain cases. For some people, it may create heat, etc. So it is also about understanding which of these things is good for me, for my body, and to which am I going to react well, right? And of course, body lifestyle, when we talk about a healthy lifestyle for the body, it includes your diet, your sleep, your exercise, in whatever constrained conditions. Yes, you cannot go out for a walk, you cannot go out for a jog maybe, then you have your own space at home, you do your yoga, you do your exercise, you keep your mind positive. That's a big part of the holistic lifestyle. So that starts with regulating the amount of time you're watching the news, how much you're reading WhatsApp forwards about COVID, right? If reading numbers every day is going to increase your anxiety, then you must regulate that reading. You must cut down the amount of time you're spending on that. And when it comes to emotion, we are all feeling. We feel, one day it could be fear, one day it could be anxiety, one day we hear about some death, so there's some grief, right? It is also about how am I going to find my balance regarding these emotions. One is, yes, I mean, we have to keep it under check. Then there are ways, each of us has our own way of calming down. For some people, it is doing your everyday job at home. I cook, I calm down. For some people, it is I go for a walk, I will calm down. I do my yoga, I remain balanced, right? And of course, spirituality, looking inward. I think all of us have faced this now. The only place we find any solace, any calm is by looking inward. Because where the more you look outside for solutions, there is no oxygen, there are no beds. The oxygen is there. Have we taken a deep enough breath? Have we opened up our lungs enough? I know I'm not directly getting to your question, but I would like to say this. There are parts of our lungs which are not regularly used properly. It's like in your house, if you have a room which is not regularly ventilated, you keep it closed. That is where, you're most likely to have some fungus growth, some mold and all that. So very similarly, there are areas in our lungs which are not always properly aerated. So one of the main things I would like to say, regarding today's topic is it's like ventilating your rooms, ventilate your lungs. When you are healthy, breathe well. The deeper you breathe, the more oxygenation is going to happen. And this is going to support the natural immunity, right? And coming to your question of regulation, see, I think we are all used to regulation. We are, as long as we have our office timings, the children have school timings, we regulate perfectly because the bus is going to come, and then, you have to pack a lunch, and then you have to go to office, you have to go to work. So it is somebody else has regulated a time for us. Now the question is, once that is removed, do we have the discipline and the focus to regulate ourselves? This is the key thing. Like when I work with a lot of families with the children, one of the key things we talk about is how the child was absolutely in a great rhythm when school was going on. Now the rhythm is gone. But then that's primarily because as a parent, we have not been able to keep that rhythm up. Otherwise, you give the child a timetable, you give them a bell and say, okay, now is wake up time, next is eating time, next is study time, they will follow it. They will fall into that rhythm. The thing is, as adults, can we regulate ourselves? And that, yes, I mean, I think for yoga practitioners, I think it comes more naturally. For people who exercise regularly, I think it comes a little more naturally, because your hormones are also regulating, right? So yeah, I would say physical activity, yoga is something that has to be part of your everyday routine in order to regulate this.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so again, Dr. Vijay was telling that now when you talk about, say, deep breathing, now people think that, deep breathing is like a quick fix, right? And they come to yoga asking, being a yoga specialist, they come to you asking that, can you teach me 1 or 2 pranayama, which is going to, improve my immunity, improve my, respiratory capacity. So is this, is it a quick fix, or like, how you said, that natural, we have to fall into that natural rhythm and, do it like a discipline and ensure that we take it up as a lifelong companion for us.
Yeah, that is where the word yoga starts. Atha yoga anushasanam. Let's begin the discipline. So it's not the discipline what we have conditioned through the external world, like as Dr. Madhuri was saying, like how we have conditioned through the school and through our professional jobs and other things. Like we were conditioned. Now everything was like all of a sudden everything got stopped and we become so chaotic. Like we don't know what to do, what time we should get up and where to go, what to do, what not to do. We have become totally chaotic. Like even kids at home sleep till 12 o'clock, even adults sleep till 3 o'clock. Like it's and ladies are in the kitchen all the time. Like nobody knows what is going on. Already the external world, we see so much of uncertainty, stress, anxiety, so many things are going on. But meanwhile, as a human individual, do we have any conditioned healthy behaviors for ourselves as an individual? Do I have any personal routine for myself? That is where the lifestyle or holistic concept comes. It's not what we condition through the external world, conditioned with the external world. It is what we condition with our own selves, our own emotions, our own thought process, our own energy things. That is what in yoga we talk about, yoga therapy, we talk about integrated approach. You consider your body, physiology, your energy, your psychology, your intellect, even your bliss sheet. So each and every existential, aspects of an individual should be considered. Then only we call it as a holistic. I sleep till 10 o'clock. After that, I'll get up and do 2 hours of some advanced practices. Like people think doing some extreme postures means advanced practices. Advancement of the practice has nothing to do with physical flexibility. Advancement is how intense one can develop body awareness. See, no matter how difficult asana we perform, at the end of the day, if I want my healing potential to be activated, the basic requirement is awareness. Awareness is the key. How intense my awareness is, that matters. It is not about how physically I'm straining myself. So it is developing body awareness, then slowly moving to the mind-body awareness, then reaching the state of mindfulness. Whether I'm being mindful, even this pandemic crisis, most of them ask, how do I manage my emotions in this uncertainty kind of situation? I would say, let us learn to develop mindfulness. Let's witness the process. Let me follow all healthy behaviors in preventing COVID. Like generally we say wearing masks, social distancing, all those things, fine. But apart from that, can I do something? If I can, let me do it. Otherwise, let me just witness the process, because I cannot change anything. Only I have only control on myself, not on others, and not on the entire situation. So that is where yoga gives us a huge freedom to be mindful. So mindfulness is the very essential thing during this pandemic. So when many of them ask, okay, doing prana kapalbhati will help me prevent from corona. Like do not only doing 1 or 2 pranayama or 1 or 2 asana. Like few people say makarasana breathing. These days this proning has become a trend. Like everybody say only doing proning will help me from COVID. I said no, it's one of the practice which increases ventilation in your lungs. Because in the prone there are so many like respiratory mechanisms which facilitates your easy breathing. Like even in sitting and supine or standing, you can breathe better in prone because of respiratory changes. But that does not mean only proning whole day will help you prevent corona or get recover from corona. Like, you need to follow a healthy diet, and you need to practice at least 1 hour of at least 40 minutes of asanas, few basic set of asanas. I'm not saying you go on practicing throughout the day because you're jobless at home. No. Let us make a disciplined, schedule. If as an adult, if I follow a disciplined schedule, then our children's, our younger generation will also follow what we do. If we are chaotic, and they will become much more chaotic than us. So the whole point is, it's not one asana, one pranayama, or one meditation, or one relaxation, or drinking kashayam, or taking some supplements, because these days everybody started taking like kilos of vitamin C, D, K, whatnot. Mere taking supplements will not help. So, and most of the supplements might not get metabolized in the body. So whatever we should take in the natural form. So there are so many natural supplements, like this is a mango season, right? Mango has a rich source of vitamin C and beta carotene and so many other this thing. And if you take jackfruit, this is a season, right? Jackfruit, even the jackfruit seed is a very rich source of zinc. So why not? Everything is readily available. Only thing is, we should have the patience to explore and to make it available for ourselves. That is very, very essential. See, when we talk about lifestyle, it is about the package. The entire activities, what we do during our night schedule and day schedule, wakeful, what we call it as sleep and wakeful cycle. In both the cycles, how we manage and how we keep our activities, that entirety, gives the result. It is not doing one asana. Please, most of the people like falsely believe this doing one asana or doing one pranayama will prevent. No, none of those. There is no magic fix. It's an immune vigilance that takes care, and in order to keep the immune vigilance alert, we need to keep our entire psycho neuroimmunology. That is what the yoga is all about, because it interferes with our psychological process, then translate the process into our physiology. So that is where we call it as a mind body yoga, as a mind body medicine. And effectively during this pandemic crisis, we can effectively use the package. I would rather say yoga as a package. Take yoga as a lifestyle medicine. Don't take yoga as a quick fix or only for rehabilitation, or only even people who are in hospitals or COVID care centers. They also started, you could have seen in TVs, like in Delhi and other metropolitan cities, they started doing yoga on their beds. Why are they doing it? Because that supports the process of healing. So everybody should do it. It is not just the people who are not infected, people who have infected, people who are recovering. No, it's for everybody. So this is high time for us to inculcate yogic lifestyle. As you said, totalistic lifestyle, holistic lifestyle, integrated lifestyle. It is nothing but yogic lifestyle. So that is what the entire package. It is not just doing one or two asana or some mudras.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, doctor. Yeah.
Right.
So again, see, we in this day we always say that be positive, think positive. So, Dr. Madhuri, how easy it is, to stay positive. Even we have seen that whether it was even pre-COVID also, our approach was not always that positive, right? But now in this COVID times, we have been told that stay positive, stay positive. So how easy it is to stay positive? That was one by yeah. So if you can,
Yeah.
throw a little more light on this.
See, I think the biggest challenge that we're facing, I'm sorry, now is to stay positive. Because, we all say it, everybody says it to us. And at the same time, you find one, you open one WhatsApp group, there is a be positive message. After that, there are 5 COVID related messages, right? So I think it is difficult. In fact, this I would say is part of that self-regulation. It is part of this yogic lifestyle we're talking about, because it is also about knowing what affects me. I may be the sort of person who can just read the news and or look through forwards and read numbers, and it may not bother me. But if I am the type of person where this is going to cause an anxiety, if looking at your black fungus reports every day is going to cause an anxiety, it is more difficult to say, I'm not going to read this, because there is a certain level of awareness all of us needs to have. It is, see, there's so much information that's coming out now, which otherwise typically only the ICU doctor would have known. Now that is available to everybody. And the anxiety that it can cause is tremendous. And when you feel this anxiety, you can feel your breath change. Your breath becomes shorter. Your blood pressure can slightly go up. Your body is physiologically reacting to that anxiety. Now, what we are doing with this anxiety is just, this is going to affect the immunity. This is going to affect our basic health. So if we can keep that in mind and say, okay, I will regulate myself. I will maybe read 10 minutes of news and keep myself away from anything that causes anxiety. See, we have enough news from, family circle or friends circle saying, somebody is hospitalized, there is something going on. So is there a benefit to me reading what is going on in some family, in some other state, in some other city? Please understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't be sensitive, don't be empathetic. But then if that sensitivity is going to affect my immunity and my health, then my first responsibility is to keep it away. Isn't it? If there is some food that when you eat causes an allergy, or it causes a lot of digestive irritation, we know that, okay, no, I'm going to avoid eating this. But every day, if you insist that, okay, this particular food, it doesn't agree with me, but still I feel like eating this every day, or I can't keep myself away. It's like a diabetic and sweets. There is an attraction. And the more you say no, there is more of an attraction. So in the current scenario, I think this is the challenge we are facing. We are, all of us, I would say, I would go far enough to say 100% of us, maybe not, maybe 90% of us, will feel that anxiety, will feel that things are, that helplessness that comes up. Where is the end to this? I can't see tomorrow. These are things which come up in us, maybe not every day, but, it'll come up. So now, already in this stage, I'm already in this phase. Now I have this, what is sweet to a diabetic? I have this overwhelming amount of information. And at each point, I have to ask myself, is this necessary to me right now? Yes, okay, I need to have some awareness of black fungus, some awareness of DVT. Okay, done. But do I really need to, not only am I relating to suffering of people around me, do I need to get sucked into the suffering of so many, families? There are reports, all that. Am I in any way creating a positive impact by reading this news? I think this is the key challenge we have. And it's extremely difficult. And I would say this is a very, very deep yogic lifestyle to even say, no, I will not get sucked into this, And I definitely think for anybody who has that amount of discipline to say, no, this is going to bother me, I will keep it away, and to stay calm and centered in yourself. And this is where your daily pranayama comes in, your daily yogic practices come in, your daily walk, whatever it may be. And here I'd like to add one more thing regarding what we were talking about. See, I see a lot of people who have not come into the yogic lifestyle before, or even have not explored a pranayama or yoga as a practice for themselves. And there's a lot of resistance. They're saying, oh, no, I can't do this. I find a lot of even young people, middle-aged people who are, busy in work or who are recovering from COVID, when you suggest at least start with an, simple pranayama. Sit at your desk in front of your laptop, do simple pranayamas. There's a lot of resistance. So I would say, let's not put them off by saying it's a discipline, you can't do it otherwise. No, you can still do start at least. It's like a healthy eating habit. You start small and then you can slowly grow into it. Right now, if we say it's a lifestyle change, I know I have spoken to a lot of people who get very scared and they'll say, no, it's not for me. That's not true. It's for everybody. Yeah, that's what I would.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and like you said, it's also important that we take in what is nourishing for us, right? So whether it is food or information, like you said, there is so much of information available now on COVID. I think, press of a button, you get, just open your WhatsApp. There is so much. So it is also important, right? Whether it is really nourishing us, not only at the physical level, but also at our mental, emotional level, and then see whether is it really needed for us. Yeah. So again, here I would like to ask one more question is to both of you is now when we say the holistic lifestyle or, integrative medicine, these are areas where, not only like, popping a pill, we know that yes, popping a pill, is as a pain reliever, helps us, or, to cope up with the pain. But these are practices where it helps to actually improve our immunity, build our resistance power, right? So can you share a little more light on this?
Yeah, I think when we talk about holistic lifestyle, it's again like what time we get up. So because our day starts the time when we get up. So in order to get up early, we need to go to bed early. That is the very basic requirement. But we have forgotten that basic rule. We go to bed late night and we plan to get out of the bed early. So that is not possible. The first thing is go to bed early. It might not be possible for few days or a couple of days, but we should try to habituate. So we should go to bed even if we can't. We should push ourselves to fall asleep. Try to practice some meditate, even deep relaxation techniques or yoga nidra or even MSRT. There are so many wonderful techniques out there. So you can just play. They are there available even in YouTube and other social platforms. You can make use of that. You can run. Let it play. You just try to fall asleep. Then morning you get up. As soon you get up, take some ushapana after you brush your teeth. Drink good amount of water because that gives the best detox, like metabolic detox overnight. Whatever the metabolites deposited, that is what we get from Vedic concept ushapana. Taking good amount of water. If you can keep the water in a silver bowl, that would be good because it gets nano silvers. Because water is a very active thing on this planet. It's like a very active substance. So if you keep in copper vessel, if you don't have a silver bowl, it's okay. You can keep it store water overnight in a copper vessel. That would be great because these metals are very effective in enhancing or restructuring water. So ionized water you can call. So you can take that water in the early morning. Then after that you can evacuate your bowels and take a small walk, prepare yourself and do some practice. Like it should not be like very structured. Like you have to be on your mat for 1 hour. Even if you feel like doing like half an hour, just do it. Stretch your spine, make yourself ready for the day. And after that, make a plan. Like even the asana practices, don't think too much like specific, this is good for COVID or not. Try not to do that, please. Even if you do Ardhakati Chakrasana, that gives the same benefits as Bhujangasana if you maintain awareness. Body awareness is the key. So in standing posture, you do two simple Ardhakati Chakrasana, Padahastasana, Ardha Chakrasana. Then you go for inverted posture, supine, sitting, prone, simple practices. But if you have that intention of developing body awareness, then every small practice could enhance. As Madhuriji rightly said, people are scared because the minute they hear word yoga, they get so scared. They think like, should I put my leg on my shoulder? No, that is not yoga. Yoga is being mindful. Whatever you do, let's try to connect. That is what Yujyate Anena Iti Yoga. Whether you can connect yourself with what you do, that is yoga. Even if you're working on your desktop or laptop through your office communication, if you connect yourself well, even through gaming, these days you could get to see kids are very fond of gaming. They develop such an intense meditative state when playing games, but in a wrong attitude. So yoga has nothing to do with only physical posture. It is again an attitude. It's an attitude of mindfulness. If we are being mindful with whatever we do, that is yoga. So simple two asanas in standing, sitting, prone, supine, that would suffice our requirement because body will function only based on an entire organism structure. It will not work based on only one organ or one system category. So we have to keep every organ in the pool, because it's a bio feedback pool. We have to keep everything in a synchrony. So that require, try to eat healthy, like simple home cooked. Don't always follow Swiggy, Zomato, and other thing. I'm not demotivating people ordering online. I'm just giving them thumbs up here. Just try to eat freshly home cooked food. You can get grocery from online, but not the food. The food, at least you can prepare. Preparing food is a joyful act if you enjoy it. Otherwise, it will be a punishment. It feels like a punishment. So make yourself productive. Make a schedule for a day. Like the way you prepare yourself when you go to office. Similarly, prepare yourself. Get up, freshen up, prepare yourself, and make small space like office space. Don't build a partition in the house. Just create a space temporarily where you prepare yourself and go to that place and sit, and like how you work in an office. Similarly, like we have to pretend we are in an office. Why is so very essential? Because we have lived these many years with professional and personal life segregation. So now everything is jumbled up. So again, we require this segregation. We have to balance professional and personal life. And after your work, again, take a break for lunch, and see, the entire schedule should be productive. If, for example, if we don't have any work, if we have leisure hours, let us try to be productive. Let's play some games with our children, try to teach them something new, even simple cooking skill, or art craft, something. Even if nothing is there, teach them how to plant a sapling. So how to remove weeds, and how to even gardening skills, basic life skills can be taught. I'm not saying you should only teach education related thing. Even life skill is also basic education for life. So teaching a kid how to repair a bicycle, yeah, that is a life skill. So nothing is useless here, whether it is professional skill, whether it's a life skill, whether it doesn't matter what skill it is. Like, only teaching them, engaging them, spending quality of time with them, very essential. Most of the houses, we hold our laptops, smartphones, and we are like creating our own barriers. Like we are isolating. We are already isolated because of COVID. One more isolation within isolation. We are creating self-isolation. Even we are staying in a same family, but we are isolating ourselves because of this electronic gadgets. So it's a high time we should try to spend quality, because see, if you want to increase your oxytocin, if you want to increase your serotonin, if you want to increase your reward hormone, dopamine. So all these are what we generally call them as like a promotive chemicals in the body. They come only when we engage ourselves productively. I cannot say I will do pranayama throughout the day and my serotonins will go high. No. We should have like bonding with the family, spending quality time with our children. So the entire modification should support. Then only we get to see a very miraculous, benefits. As Madhuriji was clearly saying this, we have somebody has stated that very beautifully, like infodemic era. Yeah, under pandemic, we have something called as infodemic era. So we have been bombarded with information that is not really required. See how many cases today: black fungus, white fungus, yellow fungus, green fungus. What do you do with fungus? It's not something like election counting is going on and you are watching very eagerly to know who is gaining power or not. Let it be. Watch news, half an hour or 1 hour a day. That's it. Throughout the day, same thing. They will be repeatedly. They don't have anything to show, so they will be telecasting same thing repeatedly. Human minds are wired, so whatever we hear and see repeatedly, the same thing gets conditioned, and the same psychological process, whatever we condition, it will get translated as physiology, because everything psychological is physiological. So we should not forget that. So
yes, yeah, and actually I liked what you said. Can we make every act that we do as a joyful act? Yeah, so whatever we are doing, can we do it joyfully? Yes, it is a choice, but I think it is a choice which also makes us look at things positively. right?
True.
It also, like you said, do I do only, yoga for 2 hours? Will my, the feel good hormones increase? No, I think every act you do joyfully, automatically, I think the feel good hormones are getting generated in the body. So Dr. Madhuri, the same question, would you like to, answer? How, staying positive and, having this positive outlook automatically has that, favorable impact on our body. Yeah, it improves our resistance. It helps to enhance our immunity.
Yeah.
So would
Yeah.
you like to add? Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'd like to draw a very simple parallel here. Okay. So all of us have our vehicles, our cars, our bikes, which have been sitting at home idle, not being started. If you haven't started it for 2 weeks, it is going to give you trouble when it starts, right? So the care we take for our vehicles is okay, every 3 days, I'm at least going and starting it and, making sure the battery is going to be okay for whenever it starts and I'm able to take it out. Second thing is, we have a great plan for all our vehicles, right? Oh, after so many kilometers, there has to be servicing done, right? Am I cleaning it every day, right? Now, we don't ask, how is this going to benefit the vehicle? You're just doing simple maintenance, isn't it? You're not doing repair. You're doing service so that you avoid going into some trouble where you will need repair. So it is as simple as that. Do we have a daily maintenance and upkeep plan for our body, mind, emotion? Do we have enough? And you may need sometimes support on this. Anything. It could be a group you're exercising with. It could be a satsang. It could be whether it is a physical exercise or it's the yoga or it's coming together like this to talk about something. This itself creates positivity, right? And you will feel your physiology change. You will feel that calming down. Even right at the beginning when we did the Omkara chanting, in a lot of my talks I usually do this. I share my screen and put on a loud news, blasting where they're yelling COVID numbers, and just close your eyes and see what you're feeling. And then you just listen to some calming music and see what changes. It immediately changes. You will actually experience that rush of calm. You will feel your respiration slow down, calm down, right? Now, these are not benefits where we can say, okay, in 25% of people, okay, calm came because of this thing. It is a simple, if we had a manual, which the way our vehicles come with, if we had a manual for ourselves, it would be, yeah, you need to bathe, eat, sleep every day. Similarly, you need to do your yoga, you need to do your pranayama, your walking, all of this, right? It's as the other example I can draw is, what is the benefit of cleaning your house every day? We're all at home, leave it, it's okay. But it is mentally ingrained in us, the house must be clean, the kitchen must be clean, the whole place, if it is clean, we are calmer. Similarly, it is our body and emotion and our mind maintenance, right? So if we can, I would say holistic lifestyle is a fancy word. If we can say, if we can have some sort of a simple, calm daily routine, for ourselves and our children. And also, I think one thing I would like to reiterate is, see, there are so many families who are going through a lot. So if we are okay today, I'm getting to spend more time with my family. Yes, I may have more work. It may be chaos, all of that. But at the end of the day, we are blessed to have this time, isn't it? I think that focus, that positivity can also create a lot of health in turn, right? So I would just say, stay calm, stay focused, do whatever it is that you need to do to keep yourselves positive. And people around you will also become positive because of that. Become positive in attitude and not COVID. We know that, right?
Yes, yeah, that is very important because
But I
we
would
don't
say,
want to be.
yeah, no, I would say an attitude positivity can spread as easily as a COVID positivity. You just
Yes,
have to create
definitely.
it, because
Yes.
otherwise we're only spreading that negative emotion. I call somebody, I call my sister, I call my mother, I call my aunt. Oh, what is happening in our apartment? This is what is happening in mine. Then I'm only spreading negativity. If I say, okay, nice to talk to you, what did you do today that was good? Then that is positivity. So I think do focus on this. It's small things and it'll make a lot of difference.
Yes, I think that is one message I think which all of us need to take in from today's talk is like, yeah, we don't want to be, COVID positive, but we have to stay positive. Yeah, stay positive and spread that positivity around. So before, we move on to one more question, if, the audience have any questions to ask, you may put it in the chat so that we could take it up. So yeah, so one last, like you said, yes, lifestyle change, when we say it seems a very big, as if we are demanding something from them. But a very beautiful example, how you gave, how we take care of our gadgets, right? Whether it's a car or a motorbike or even a mobile. So, it's also important that we also take care of the body. And like they say, yes, the body is there. And, we have, heard people living for more than 100 years, right? So it's important that we follow these simple changes. Yeah, we are not asking for too much. So what is that one thing that you would, suggest that people start with? If both of you could say, no, some people say, no, I'm, a busy executive. My day starts at 7 o'clock. I log in and, ends late. So, but what is that one thing which you would say that start with that and then see, you can, see that, you build up a discipline.
See,
Yes, like,
whenever-
somebody has said, I find it difficult to wake up early in the morning.
Yeah, that is where the word discipline starts. Discipline, the minute we hear the word discipline, which means it's something troubling, like something difficult, something challenging. So yeah, that is where discipline is. Most of them see, here the teenager is asking, it's very difficult to get up. Why is it so difficult? Because you haven't had a very good night's sleep. You slept, yeah, you just slept overnight, but you haven't had a very good sleep. Good night sleep is very essential. That is where we greet each other. Good night, good night. What do you mean by good night? Means just disappear for some time, get lost. No, it's like good night is let's get some good night sleep. If you, like most of us experience, when we are so tired, we just go to bed, like morning we get up so fresh, we feel, I just had a knocked out sleep. So what is that? I am the person who experienced that knocked out sleep, which means if I have a good night's sleep, morning I don't even have to keep alarm snoozing around me. So I will wake up as soon my sleep pattern finishes. So this is where we have to improvise our, not the quantity of sleep, because everybody reads the scientific article and they say, oh, sleeping 10 hours is very good for immunity. It's not about the quantity of the sleep. It is about the quality, how well we sleep, that matters. It is not how long we sleep. So that is very essential. If you want to go to bed early, definitely you will have a good sleep. And for that, again, we have to do a lot of homework. Good night sleep will not come like as popping alprazolam or some other benzodiazepines and not getting pushed into drug-induced state of sleep. No, if you want to, that is where I said lifestyle is resetting our circadian rhythm, because suprachiasmatic nucleus regulates pineal gland that secretes melatonin. As soon the dark light become dim externally, melatonin secretion increases. When melatonin secretion increases, our body slows down, the metabolism slows down. That is where we say don't eat heavy at night, because your body's metabolism is not optimal. It will not support heavy metabolization. So eat healthy, eat light. Especially at night, we generally say go to bed empty stomach, go to bed hungry. Why do we say that? Because the time we go to bed, our metabolic status will be very slow. So during that time, if we load our system, we develop so many metabolic toxins, because our system cannot compensate such a load. So eat early dinners, like 7:30, finish off your dinner. And by the time you feel almost comfortable, you can go to bed. Before bed, let's try to practice some pranayama and relaxation technique. And even if you can do simple like Omkara Japa, Ajapa Japa, Omkara Japa would be more than enough. You don't have to go to a specialist to learn. Just sit quiet, try to focus on your breath, or lie down on your bed. Just go on focusing your breathing. Like breath awareness is the easiest way to slow down your mental process. Then you go to bed. So before bed, stop watching news. At least for 2 hours, don't use any gadgets, even it's a mobile TV or anything, because these are CNS stimulants. You should avoid those things, like drinking a hot cup of espresso and asking somebody to sleep. Okay, now you go and sleep. You can't, because you have stimulated your system, right? So you have, the brain should slow down, which means the mind should slow down. Then you will develop the drowsiness and you'll fall asleep. But we have become so like, how do I shut down my computer? Like go to setting, then like power off. You cannot do that. It's not something which has been made manually. It's a nature built matrix. You cannot operate the way you want. So very basic thing is, try to set your whole day. Then your night cycle, what we see, that sleep pattern will get acclimatized, and it will take like 1 or 2 weeks minimum time. So most of them, they try for 1 or 2 days and they'll give up easy. They say, no, I tried for 2 days, nothing is working. I'm feeling so horrible. I cannot try that. No, you need to have patience, because in order to change, in order to acclimatize, because we are trying to psychophysiologically condition ourselves. This habituations, what we call, because we are all addicted. Don't think only substance addiction is the addiction. If you are addicted to coffee, people don't get coffee by the evening, their hands and legs start shivering. So that is also an addiction. We are dependent, like sweet. These days we are consuming unregulated amount of sweet, and we are worried about black fungus, white fungus. Don't try to create a fertile ground for fungus. If you are diabetic, maintain your sugar levels. If you are non-diabetic, maintain your healthy sugar levels. Don't think I'm not diabetic, I'll go on eating sweets and no fungus can come to me. No. Ultimately, everything boils down to immune response. In order to keep immune response, circadian rhythm is very essential. Circadian rhythm is nothing but the sleep cycle and day cycle. Somebody asked, like, what time should I get up? What would be the ideal time to practice yoga and pranayama? So morning, if you get up by Brahmi Muhurtam, like 30 minutes before sunrise, that would be great. If you cannot, it's okay, by at least 5:30, 6, whatever best you feel. So, yeah.
Yeah. There is one question which the lady says that, she has been positive, trying to stay positive, but then she is tested COVID positive. So.
Yeah. So if you have been tested positive, so monitor your symptoms. Don't get panicked. That is the first criteria is don't get panicked, because mortality rate for COVID is only 3%. Means chances of developing severe, like morbid complications, would be only 3%. So the chances of recovering is 97%. Look at the positive aspect of it. People like 103, 104-year-old people are getting even recovered and discharged. And the problem here is we only look into like 19-year-old boy could not survive, succumbed to COVID. See, if you plot a graph, right? There are always extreme values. If you focus only on extreme values, you will go crazy. So take an average. See, 104-year-old is also getting recovered and 19-year-old is succumbed to COVID. So what do you take? It's like the message is right in front of us. If you want to fight, if you want to come back, take a positive side. Take a motivation from people who recovered. 97% is the recovery possibility. Why are you looking only at the 3% window? That is where I said choice. What do you want to see? You want to see only the negativity, that 3% window, or you want to see that 90%, 97% window? That makes the entire story different. Because the mental status directly influence your T lymphocytes, and especially the T lymphocytes which fight against this viral load. So if you develop uncertainty, anxiety, fear, your T lymphocyte activity becomes low. Count means CD4, CD8 count will go for a toss. Means you get into a self-induced immune compromised state. So don't do that. Look at the positive side. See, I'm not saying just falsely believe something. Statistically, see, 97% is the recovery possibility. 3% is the mortality, the morbidity state. So what do you want to see? Choice is always there. Whether we want to choose it or not, it is up to us.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Madhuri, would you like to add something as to what one thing which you would suggest, to start as a discipline? See, again, what has been said is like discipline is not that something which is enforced on us, right? Discipline has to come from within. then, you continue it for a longer time, right?
Yes, yes. In fact, I'd like to say, I'd also like to just give a take on that question where the teenager is asked that it's difficult to wake up in the morning. I would say, to you that find a reason to get excited to wake up in the morning. Okay? Because, usually if you have to go to college or you have to go to school, you're going to meet your friends, at least that's going to be something interesting you're looking forward to during your day. So, that would have happened. Can you see, there is no ideal time, right? If you are waking up half an hour before noon, then 6 a.m. is not possible. One day you may, and the second day you'll run out of motivation, right? So can you motivate yourself? Can you give yourself an activity in the morning, maybe an exercise session online where you meet your friends and do a physical workout together or something like that? Or you say, if I wake up at this time, I will, give myself so much time talking to my friends or something like that. So, and then you regulate yourself. You regulate yourself so that if it was 9:30 a.m. waking up, then you move it to maybe 8:30 initially, and then you try to move it to 7:30, right? So this is for everybody. You can't suddenly, I mean, yes, people can suddenly change their lifestyle, but it takes a lot of inner motivation, right? So give yourself something exciting to wake up to, so that is one thing. And the other question I saw was how to make kids interested in yoga, as they feel it is a slow thing to put up with. Here's what I'd like to say. I would say that probably your child has been exposed to, maybe your yoga class or, the adults doing yoga, where it is a slow calming activity. But if you see the children's yoga classes, in fact, Yoga Bharati has beautiful classes for children. Even their summer camp is amazing. I would say when you have a child in a group doing their regular asanas, it is great fun for them. It is also challenging. With children, we don't only say calm down. We are saying, are you stretching to your limit? Are you able to do that asana? Are you able to get the posture right? And they also look at the other children in that class and say, okay, let me straighten a little more. And I think it's okay. It is not that in children also we expect that the self-discipline has to be there. I'm not going to look at other people. I'm going to do it on my own. It's okay. Whatever way they're motivated to do yoga, I think you can do that. There's also a lot of really, even for very young children, there's a lot of very nice videos on YouTube, stories where they can do yoga along with it. Otherwise, for a primary school child and all that, the classes are wonderful, the group classes. That's what I wanted to say. And I would say, if you had to change one thing, I would say start with a 10-minute or a 15-minute stretches, that is your basic asanas, followed by some pranayama. If you don't even have that time, start with a daily pranayama. Even your Omkara chanting, or if you have resistance to that, even your basic deep breathing techniques, which I'm sure Yoga Bharati everybody is being taught that. Start with a very simple thing. Everybody in the house can do it. Do it maybe before you start log into work, or 10 minutes before lunch, or pick any time of the day that works for you, right? I think that's the easiest place to start, because the way stress is showing on us now is the breathing. The way you say, okay, I have to, you're always feeling like I'm late for that train, I'm late for that aeroplane is going to take off. That's the feeling we're all living with, right? And that is the stress that your body is feeling. I would say start with basic pranayama. Even if you can maintain a 15-minute pranayama routine for say 2-3 weeks, you will feel the changes. It is definite. You will feel changes in your energy. You will find your stress reducing, right? And from there, as you are convinced, as I become convinced that yes, this is helping my energy, then I can slowly make it twice a day, or I can maybe explore certain basic asanas. But I would say start with the basic breathing techniques, deep breathing, pranayama.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, like, what we always say, the body is there. So it is also important that we understand that it is just not the physical body, right? You might be eating the right food, Yeah, maybe you also do the exercise. Maybe you're going for your daily walks or doing your routine stretches. But it's also beyond the body, right? Your mind. You should know how to calm down the mind. To have that positive outlook. So it's like that is the reason we say that have a holistic approach. Yeah, so that is very important. And how both of them said, you could do your chanting. And a lot of people normally say, that, oh no, I don't have a good voice, that I can't chant. But here it's not about having a good voice. It is that chanting has that calming effect. So with that, if we can just end the session with a few rounds of Om chanting, and I'm sure that everybody will feel that calmness, and you can continue with somebody has mentioned, yes, be positive, have that positive outlook. So thank you so much, Dr. Vijay and Dr. Madhuri. Yes, you would like to add something?
Excuse me. And somebody has asked, like, they planned so many things, auspicious occasions and other things, but because of the situation, they're feeling so disappointed. Let's not be so selfish, because see, look at the world as a broader family. Like, we propagate Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. There are families, they see so many deaths in their family, and people are going through so much. So let's not be so selfish. Like, I cannot, execute my program, so I'm feeling so disappointed. Let's try to have a universal consciousness, compassion, and love. That is what the core of yoga is. But we, segregated it to bhakti. But universal compassion, love, that is the very essence of doing yoga. We become so compassionate when you do yoga because of that. So let's be, compassionate, and let us try to develop an attitude of gratitude. That is what is the need of the hour. So let's all pray for each other for global peace and wellness, and let's develop an attitude of gratitude. Our immune system will immediately become vigilant.
Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah. And I think, yes, that is so very important, that with the practice of yoga, you actually feel that, you're being that compassionate, you're that love, qualities of love, compassion, kindness, all that which are there, inherent human qualities, it all comes up. And that is what is the need of the hour, I think. So, and with that, I think attitude of, the gratitude towards each and every one of us here, let us chant a few rounds of Omkara and then pray for the welfare of everybody. So if you all can sit wherever you are with your eyes closed. See, again, the chin mudra that we do, the simple mudra of the finger touching the index finger, has a very calming effect. It can induce a good sleep. So if you can do the chin mudra as also as a daily practice along with your chanting. So you can chant loudly, you can chant in the mind, whichever is comfortable. So let us chant around 5 rounds of Omkara. Each time you breathe in, and as you breathe out, continue with the chanting and feel the silence after the chanting. Palms and Namaskara Mudra. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow down, expressing your gratitude to Mother Earth, the higher reality, your parents. Rub the palms together, generate enough warmthness. Make a cup out of it and place it over the eyes. Continue to feel the warmth. Gently rub the facial muscles, your neck muscles. Bring the palm in front of you with a few blinks. Open your eyes, looking into the palm.